Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Morris, and I believe that to be truly happy, it's really important we increase our understanding of how we can live our lives in line with our core values. So in this short coaching tip, I'd like to explore this topic with you, aiming to offer you ideas and insights to help you identify and use your values to make you even happier, both inside and outside of work. So let's start at the beginning. What do I mean when I say values? Human values are typically considered to be our own personal set of guiding principles. I like to visualize them as like this big, strong bubble around them. Everything that comes in through the bubble gets filtered through our values, as does everything that goes out. The things we see other people do, the things that we hear them say, and indeed the things that we do and say ourselves. For example, if I hold a core value of honesty and I hear something that seems dishonest to me, it's going to cause a negative, uncomfortable reaction in me. And if I ever consider myself to be behaving dishonestly, I will in turn get that same kind of icky, kind of uncomfortable feeling. So that's quite a powerful bubble, influencing everything to a greater or lesser extent. Which poses my next question, which is, how attuned are you to your own values? Do you know what they are? And can you importantly articulate them? Do you know how they impact your actions? And do you know how they impact your interpretations of other people's actions? In my view, our starting point is always about identifying them, connecting yourself deeply with your own personal set of guiding principles. There are lots of potential human values used in research, from honesty through to fairness or achievement. And typically it would appear that we hold just a handful of core values. From my experience, around 7 or 8, which can sometimes even be grouped further into wider themes. People might have a couple of values that are people orientated, for example, or a few others that might be outcome related. Once we've identified our core values, that's one thing, but our next deeper step is to be able to articulate them. And again, during the course of my career, I've heard honesty defined maybe 30 different ways, and the only way that matters is the way the individual describes it themselves. Because remember, our values are subjective. They belong to us, so nobody can say that my definition or your definition of honesty is right or wrong. If you'd like some help with identifying and articulating your values, we've got a brilliant activity which we are very, very happy to share with you. So do contact us, either me directly or my colleagues at motionlearning.com, and we will send you a free activity to help you work through this process. Because knowing and being close to our values and being able to articulate them is a really, really wonderful thing. It becomes even more powerful, though, when we look at how we use this understanding and this insight. And the things I'd like to leave you with are 3 key ways I believe your knowledge of your values can be of credible use. So firstly, knowing and being able to articulate your values will help you in making choices that work for you. In life, we're often faced with a constant barrage of things that can leave us really conflicted. Employers want something, family has a view, society expects things, and so on. And working out what you want in the middle of all that noise can be really, really helpful. One way to do this is by cross-referencing your choices against what you know about your values. Because when facing a dilemma, you'll be astonished to find that the answers you're looking for will typically be found in your own descriptions of what matters to you. What choices are you now facing, I wonder? Refer to what you know about your values, and maybe these could help you make a decision that feels right for you. Secondly, I know that our values can help us communicate way more accurately. I was given an example by a recent client who was negotiating her return from maternity leave with her boss, and she'd been doing some work around her values, and she knew that being connected was really, really significant for her. Being connected to her work, being connected to her family. As her and her boss were exploring options, my client told me that she used her knowledge of her values to articulate clearly and openly why certain things will and won't work for her. She describes how useful it was to be able to say, I'm very happy to be able to work some longer days, and I can really see the importance of that. What's important to me, though, is that it isn't every single night. I need to have time to connect with my child several times a week at the end of the day. If I prioritise this on agreed days, then the rest of the week I can work longer, for sure. I asked her what difference she felt this had made, and she described feeling much less combative going into that conversation, much more authentic, as if she had gone in kind of like with an open mind and a truthfulness, as opposed to going on with a much more rigid message for her employer. So next time you're faced with communicating what's important to you, refer to your values and see if they can offer you insight into ways to share your message clearly. It's often not the what's, but the why underpinning it that really matters. And this is the language led by our values. Finally, knowing, understanding and being connected to your values will undoubtedly increase your levels of happiness and well-being. I expect that's easy for you to see now that we've explored what values are and how they impact us. Numerous researchers, notably within the field of positive psychology, evidence that when our behaviours and interactions are in line with our core values, we feel happier. Everyday life is genuinely smoother and we can be more content. So, I believe that navigating work and life will always be challenging, but using your values as like a North Star to guide your thinking, to aid your communication and to support your happiness is a really, really smart thing to do. Because from my perspective, your happiness really matters. So thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting. Please do feel free to reach out if you'd like to have access to the activity I mentioned. And I really look forward to catching up with you again soon.